What's going to be How's It Hanging? How's It Happen? You guys know this is Kevin from the Chord Progression Podcast, sponsored by Duct Systems, the best in custom computer technology, whether you need it for your custom computer for gaming, streaming, music, creative, literally anything you might need. Duct Systems has the build for you. Get $100 off your entire build. Use code CPPOD at Duct Systems. Link to the podcast below. Thank you guys. Now it's that feature presentation. Let's get heavy. We have By the Thousands on the podcast today. Their brand new EP, The Descent, comes out on March 15th, the day after we release this episode. They'll be going on tour with Oceano to support this, and we get a look into a little bit about what makes their music great and what they decided to do on this EP. Ooh, boy, let's have some fun. Are you guys ready? Let's go! Yeah. Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, listeners of the Chord Progression Podcast. You like metalcore? I mean, you're listening to this podcast, so I'm very well assuming that you do because we bring in a lot of metalcore bands. And this one is one that I'm absolutely floored at because I used to live in the state of Minnesota. I used to live in the Twin Cities, and that's where these guys are from. They've got a brand new EP called The Descent coming out on March 15th. So literally, like the day after we release this podcast, you get to hear it. You get to go hear the full EP. And they're going to be going on tour with Oceano as well, along with a little headline run of their own to support the EP. So you're going to want to go check this out. And the best way to not only preview the EP, preview these live shows, is listen right here. So please welcome Ando, Dustin, and Adam from the band By the Thousands to the podcast. So gentlemen, welcome to the Chord Progression Podcast.
How's it going? Thank you so much for having us.
Dude, thank you guys for being on. It is a pleasure having you on. And like I said, you know, you guys are going out with Oceano. You guys have a little small headlining run. I'm super stoked, though, to have you on the one random one-off show before the headlining run, right after the EP is released with Oceano here in Milwaukee. So I am super excited to see what you guys got live. I cannot wait to see what you guys are going to be able to pull out and get that crowd into a big, giant ruckus.
Hell yes. We're so stoked to come back to Milwaukee.
So let me ask you this, because of course going out with Oceano, that is a big, gigantic thing, knowing how big that band is, knowing how well known that band is. How did this all come into fruition?
Yeah. Can I take this one?
Yeah, I think our friend Keith Gray, he introduced our band to Adam Morin. I think they were just playing in Iowa, and I think they stayed at his house, and Keith was like, dude, you got to check out this band. And then I think Adam just really dug it and was super into it. And then shortly after, he posted on his Instagram saying check out this band. And I was like, oh my God, that's so fucking cool. And yeah, he's just our people talk to your people, and we set up a small short tour that happened before the pandemic. And then yeah, that's kind of how we became friends with those guys. And yeah.
Yep. So we did that run before the pandemic, and then just got the hookup again. Our buddy Eder and Keith, I think, as well. And then also Adam was just I would love to bring these guys out again. So yeah, he's the best.
Say, well, clearly you guys made a good impression after that initial run just right before the pandemic. If 4 years later, literally pretty much the day 4 years later, where you guys would be able to go out and perform with them live once again, have a blast, and just create a scenario where that crowd is going to be possibly one of the most rambunctious crowds of the entire year. I mean, we're only into March. There's always a lot of shows still to be had left, but you guys are setting up for one hell of a moment where people are going to look back and say, that may have been the most wild show of the year. Even beating out shows with bands like, Alpha Wolf, Knocked Loose, Kubla Khan. You got a chance with this one.
Oh yeah. We're very stoked. The show is sold out, so that should be a good time. Also, it's at, that sick ass venue. So.
Oh, good old X-Ray Arcade. I'm I can tell you're I can't remember the name of the venue, so I'm just going to call it that sick ass venue.
Let
me fill in the blanks for you, my man.
R.I.P. the Metal Grill, but yeah, it's honestly way sicker now.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that the walls have signs on that say dance at your own risk, that's when you know that the venue's going to be a good time.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm super excited for that one. But so far, just kind of seeing, that's just the one-off one here in Milwaukee. But going forward, a little bit later in the year, you guys are going out with them fully. I mean, how is that anticipation going right now? Because you're probably hearing a lot from fans getting ready to go to that, see you guys play live with Oceano outside of Milwaukee, and just experiencing not only that, but all the new songs off the Descent EP live.
Yeah, I couldn't be more stoked. We have this set list where we're playing all the new stuff, so it's very much like a new live show. And then we're playing a bunch of, deep cuts as well, so that should be fun.
Oh, you're going to really get people in. It's like, all right, we got the big shiny new stuff, but then we're going deep into some other stuff too that you guys might not have even heard of. So if you want to hear some of the most popular stuff we got going on, you're going to have to go to Spotify for that, or come see us at another show sometime soon because ha.
Yeah. Yeah.
One of the songs we've just never played live before, so I'm really stoked to get that one out there for people to hear.
I would ask you what that is, but I'd rather be surprised by it and get everybody else surprised by it, like just trying to guess what it could possibly be.
Yeah, that sounds just as good.
So we'll roll with that. But going to the EP now specifically because, of course, that's coming out on March 15th, literally the day after we are releasing this episode to the public so everyone can get into it. When it came to writing this EP, especially, first new collection of songs, I would say, since Dead Matter came out in 2020, like, what was the whole process of going through these songs, writing them, creating them, and just the overall theme behind them? Because there's always an interesting point, interesting story, especially with bands writing music post-pandemic now.
Yeah. I think a lot of that kind of started in the pandemic. A lot of those songs got written immediately after we released Dead Matter. And, there's a lot of stuff that went on during the pandemic, just like most bands, but just kind of a lot of stuff where it was, really heavy. So that's kind of what comes out in this record.
Yeah, it has to do with like some personal things that happened in my life, and then like a couple of the songs are songs that you have also written.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just pretty much just personal experiences and stuff like that, but we chose topics that people would be able to relate to. And
I mean, that's always been the important thing, is to choose topics that people are going to be able to relate to in a certain capacity, where it's not, being super duper specific with your story where people can only focus on that if they went through the exact same thing you did, or be so vaguely broad with the lyrics overall where, they're not going to be able to follow along with and get lost. It's kind of find those topics, speaking from personal experience, but speaking metaphorically so that in our brains, we can connect the dots and basically connect the emotions that you're speaking of with your story, but then replay our own experiences in our head like a freaking movie, and having you guys with your backing, with the music, with the instrumentals, with the lyrics, vocals, everything as the soundtrack to that experience.
Yeah, that's well said.
I'll put it this way. I've said that a number of times before, but I always like to say it again and again because of how true it actually is.
Yeah, I mean, that's what we want to do. We just want to relate to people out there, and we're obviously writing this for ourselves, but if we can help people along the way, like, that's fucking huge for us.
Well, even just thinking about, like, when you look at the name of the EP, when you look at the Descent, you're going to be thinking about, you're going to be going down into something that's going to be deeper, that's going to be heavier, that's going to, especially from an emotional standpoint, you're going to go further in yourself, and you're going to have to explore some certain things that you might not want to even go into or go at further in depth. And especially when, a lot of these things maybe came out, were influenced from what you'd experienced during the pandemic and coming out of that as well through isolation. And of course, everything that happened with the George Floyd demonstrations, especially being from the Twin Cities, being in the middle of something like that, there's going to be a lot of different personal experiences that you're going to be able to pick up on, a lot of different emotions that are happening in there, and a lot of different reverberations that are happening just based off of the climate that you're in, and allowing yourselves to really write off of those personal experiences that you had, no matter where they came from, but being able to just fully flesh those out, put them in a song, and let us relate to them, but also have that sort of self-therapy session with you guys where you can go through these and go deeper into yourself as well and come out even better because now you understood some of those emotions of whatever situation you're talking about in these songs. That's really what stands out as a band. That's really what stands out when people connect to these songs overall.
Exactly. Yeah, it was pretty hairy where we were during all the protests. Adam and I lived right off of Hiawatha, and there was a gas station that like almost exploded right across from our house. And then, during that time, we lost a drummer. It was just a lot of heaviness, Hondo was living in Duluth. We were all kind of in our separate vibe for a little while, and came together, and I think we wrote the best record we've ever written.
See, that's one thing I've been seeing with a lot of bands coming, like, not with their first releases coming out of the pandemic specifically, because of all the things that have gone on there, all the different emotions, and especially the fact that, like you said, with Dustin, you and Adam, where there was a gas station that was right by your house that almost literally exploded based off of what had gone on. Just living in that environment, seeing how all that played out, because everyone else in the world, everyone else in the United States was able to watch it happen and see what was going on. But being in the middle of that is a completely different thing. Plus all the different isolation pieces, guys living in different cities across Minnesota. That's going to be a more difficult thing to keep everything together. But it really speaks highly of you guys, where you can get together still, dive deep into what you really want to dive deep into, really bring these songs to light, really work at them primarily, and just expose them to the world with the biggest vibrato possible, because of how many bands that I think about that were working on music during the pandemic, inspired by it, and released it, how powerful a lot of the music has been in the last couple, 2-3 years. There's been a lot of great stuff that's come out, and it's usually the first stuff that comes out post-pandemic, and this is going to be your first stuff coming out. So there's a lot of positivity in terms of how good this is going to be.
Thanks, man. I hope that's how everybody feels.
Yeah.
And so with the two singles that you guys have released right now, with both The Flood and Dead Weight, what has been the initial response from these two at this moment?
Yeah. It's been pretty sick, actually.
Yeah.
Especially The Flood. I think we ran into some bumps as far as the first single goes, because there's quite a bit of F-bombs and weird imagery in the music video. So it kind of got flagged on YouTube, but fuck them. It's all good.
Exactly. Fuck them, because I've seen worse shit on YouTube than what you guys put in that video. Yeah. So, and stuff that's not even flagged or restricted. So YouTube, what the hell, guys? Come on.
Yeah.
But again, that makes sense, where it's, you still potentially have to go through some of those hurdles. And then when it comes to The Flood coming out, now you've got a little bit of a different chance, a second chance to really get people attached to the EP, attached to the band, once again, attached to new music in an easier capacity, when you don't have, the powers that be of YouTube or other streaming services restricting some of your music based on, dropping an F-bomb here and there. When, I think about this, they kept promoting Wet Ass Pussy a couple of years ago. Why couldn't they just push this shit?
Yeah, it's bizarre. I think, obviously somebody at their level, it's much easier to promote that. I don't know if they could take out any Google ads for Wet Ass Pussy, but I doubt they needed to.
I doubt they needed to do that, just given the content, and of course was producing, whatever record company was behind it. But still, it just kind of speaks to the oddity, the fact that something like that could get so heavily promoted in certain areas, where someone has a couple of F-bombs, gets very restricted, and maybe some certain images on a YouTube video get restricted based off of just, this is fine, but this isn't. And I even think about Ice Nine Kills, the amount of stuff they've gotten away with in some of their music videos, some of the horror gore that they've gotten away with that I absolutely love seeing, but also at the same time, wait, shouldn't this also probably have been flagged? I know the Horrorwood video was, and that one was pretty grotesque. That was awesome. But again, it kind of speaks to that idea of, not sure about that one.
I would have to check it out. That sounds interesting.
It's amazing.
Just imagine the most amount of horror film fun gore you could possibly imagine in a music video. Yeah, that's best way to put it.
Yeah, that stuff is always fun. We shot a video for a single that we put out with Dead Matter called Soul Conductor. We had some special effects and stuff like that, and pretty much there's a part of the video where the guy who plays Anubis in there just cuts me open and starts ripping out my organs and stuff like that. And we used what was it, real pig organs,
pig intestines.
Yeah.
And then there was a cow heart that was this fucking big.
It's pretty gnarly. Smells really bad.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm hoping you maybe put some like eucalyptus oil or like Vicks Vapor Rub under your nose so that you could at least breathe during that.
That would have
Nope,
been a good
definitely
idea.
didn't.
Yeah.
So that stuff starts to like rot as the day goes on and smell worse.
I'll say
Had
maybe
that all up in me.
maybe something you won't think about doing for a little bit until like the memory of that stench goes away and you're like, okay, I can do this again. We got this.
That was a fun video to shoot.
Yeah. Then that old man video, we had a video for Clouded Eyes, one of our first singles. Yeah. He was an old man. He was transformed into an old man, and it was amazing.
Oh yeah. Still wish I could kept that mask.
And I'm saying next time you do something like that, maybe do another old man video, put Ando in a mask again, the old man mask, and then as they're like, okay, we're ready to pack up for the day, just sneak into a backpack and be like, all right, guys, we're out of here. If they ask you where the mask went, just go with, I don't know, maybe you misplaced it.
Yeah,
you
that
got
would have been fun to like, keep it and like film like old man jackass stuff.
Well, yeah, like what was it, Bad Grandpa or Dirty Grandpa or whatever the heck it was. I can't. I was like, I'm pretty sure there's a movie, Dirty Grandpa, and also the Jackass Bad Grandpa. You literally could have. I mean, I'm trying to think of a different word for that. Grotesque Grandpa.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, By the Thousands also has a new YouTube series called Grotesque Grandpa. It's just Ando going up on stage in the grandpa mask just doing weird shit. I mean, maybe it's pretending to drink blood and it's just, like corn syrup dyed red. I don't know.
Next Halloween show, let's go.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Then I'm going to have to show up at the next Halloween show if that's going to be a thing. And then I got to find a way to create a costume in the pit that's going to match it because I don't think I can. I'd either have to go really grotesque or really just upfront and stupid. I mean, I'd probably be down for it. Literally yesterday when I was seeing Beartooth, a bunch of my friends and I, we decided to dress up as different Mario characters in the pit and just see what happens. Yeah, I kind of messed up because I just got a sweatshirt with the whole thing on, but I should have just gone shirtless with the red tie, put DK on, and just started hitting people for fun. Maybe on Saturday I'll get a red tie and just have fun with it instead.
Do it. Dude, I'll be DK.
Just come right in there and just go, ooh, 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 ooh. Just start throwing barrels at people, having a blast, Maybe we'll get a couple 100 points with that. I don't know.
Weren't you Donkey Kong once for a Halloween show?
I was actually Donkey Kong once. That's my my initials, so.
All right, then. Shit, I might have to bring that sweatshirt back on Saturday if it's not completely torn apart yet. It was like a 100% polyester sweatshirt. I'm like, in the pit, that's not going to work. I'm going to die in this thing. So I just cut off the sleeves and made it a sleeveless sweatshirt. But yeah, things started ripping pretty quickly. But maybe we'll see what happens. But going back to the EP specifically, because you said the Flood was getting a lot more of a positive response, especially because you guys were able to promote it better. So what's been some of the positivity you've been seeing off of that song?
Yeah, I mean, the video, we've gotten a lot of, positive responses to that. Obviously, also the song, the riffs and all the vocal stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. This one was more like had a groovy bounciness to it versus like the last single was just very aggressive and pretty much just to show like we can be fucking heavy, and this one's more like riff.
Yeah, riffy. I was intentionally trying to make a super genty song. I was like in a mood where it was like everything wasn't genty for a little while there, and I was like, okay, like I'm just gonna fucking create some gnarly hammer-on riff, and that's kind of where it started.
So that kind of makes sense because when I was listening through the Flood specifically, it definitely had a little bit more of that like just consistent groove behind it, where it had a little more of that genty style consistency. Where personally for me, I like stuff that's gonna be a lot more manic, a lot more change of pace, a lot more just wild, crazy inducing stuff. And for me, it was just like I ended up going a little bit more towards Deadweight than the Flood just because of stuff like that. But listening to Flood, and of course, going through and looking at the comments on the YouTube video, seeing what people were saying, there are a lot of people that are really into it. And I think it's just because it had this consistent flow throughout it where for more of a progressive style, maybe a little more of a gent style as well, it hits on a lot more of those tropes and connects with people in a lot more of that way, where Deadweight definitely has a heavier aspect to it, definitely consistently changes up and shows a different side of progressive metalcore that you guys are showing there, where you're consistently having these flows go through and through, but you're able to change up on a dime and still make it seem as incredibly consistent as possible, which is why I end up going to that one. However, how many comments I see on the Flood video, there's like, I've been having this on repeat since, God, I don't even know. I think I saw like 10 comments on YouTube just that said that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a pretty simple song structure, super short. There's like 2 riffs in it and a breakdown.
Yeah, quick banger.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was a little curious about that. I was like, that's a little quick for what I was going to be expecting. But then again, you always have to, you can't ever like judge a book by its cover, never judge a song by how long it is. Because, there's songs out there that are like 9-10 minutes longer. You listen to Dream Theater and you're like, how is this song this long? And it's just a beautiful piece of art. Or you listen to something like, oh, this song's not going to be anything. It's 1 minute and 15 seconds and the vocalist doesn't really say anything. And then the ultimate like breakdown call out of "Arf, arf" comes out of it. Like, you never know. You never know. You just got to enjoy the ride.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like a nice long song, Opeth, like you can't even tell that the song's like 10 minutes. There's like 3 riffs, but like the way they do it. Also, Meshuggah, same kind of vibe where it's like 1 riff throughout the entire song, but they just kind of just develop it as they go.
Yeah, this stuff is really cool.
Yeah, that's kind of what I remember experiencing that. Like, I saw Meshuggah play live back in December, and I'm like, okay, let's just see how this is all going to go. I'm like, oh, only 8 songs? Oh, this will be interesting for a headlining set. And it's just, okay, these songs keep, like, it's felt like 2 songs in one every single time. It's like these things keep going and going, but they just kept evolving over time.
Yeah.
Definitely one of my favorite live bands that I've seen. They are insane.
So that was one. That was one show to basically kind of like put a big stamp at the end of the year on, especially see it in December. But now, that was last year. This is this year. We get to see you guys play live. So expecting the same thing. Well, not in the same like long standing capacity where they're gonna be playing like 8-9 minute songs, but expecting somewhere at the end of it, people are gonna be like by the thousands. We need to go meet them. We need to go find them at the merch table. We need to go say hi because they made us feel something.
Dude, that's the intent.
It is.
So outside of Deadweight and outside of the Flood, when it comes to the Descent, there's always a question I like to ask, and it kind of might be like picking your favorite child, but I really want to go off this. So the songs that have not been released, which song that has not been released off the Descent is your favorite and why? Just so that we get a listen of like, oh, a little bit of a preview on some of these songs and see why you guys like them and get people excited. Like, okay, now I have to check out this one because this is coming out when the EP drops, and ooh, am I excited.
That one's tough. We have a song entitled Unbound that is going to be dropping soon.
Yeah, very soon.
Well, the whole EP is dropping this week, so. But that one is, I would say, one of my favorites that we haven't released yet. It's has a really good pace to it. Like, it's very upbeat, like at first, and then has some blast to it, and just it's well rounded. Like it has a different feel. Like as it goes on and goes on and goes on through the song, like it feels like it progressively changes. But and I would say that one's like one of my favorites.
Yeah, that one kind of runs the gamut. Like I think you would like that one if you're into more of the, developmental kind of stuff. Like there's one riff repeats once, and there's a lot more riffs, a lot more feels in that song. That's one of my favorites as well. I got a nice solo that I'm really stoked on in that one. We haven't really dropped any songs with solos yet. I really like another one called Shiver.
That one's a really
super
good one.
personal. it's probably up there with Unbound for me as well. How about you, Adam?
I'd say Unbound has like my favorite ending to a song.
Yeah, the ending to that song is nice. Stoked for people to hear it.
Yeah, when it hits, it kind of like gives me like a shiver a little bit. Like
The end of Shiver?
the end of Unbound.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
There is
Yeah.
Gives you the shivs.
shivs.
Unbound's gonna come in, then at the end of it's gonna give you the shivs, and then all of a sudden, boom, you're gonna go right into Shiver. So it just kind of works out that way. Hey.
We should have had it go that way. It's actually Shiver into Unbound on the EP. But yeah.
We're hoping for like the goosebump effects for when we play it live. Like people are like, "Oh my god!" That's what I'm hoping for.
I mean, isn't that what you're going to be hoping for like every song, though? You want to have people just kind of, especially when you're able to play them live, just feel it and just really get that feeling of just like, the goosebumps going up your arm, or just like that tingling going down your spine of like, I am witnessing something here. And if you guys got a chance to do it with a song like Unbound, then by God, do it.
Yeah, that one personally for me, that ending is very like dramatic. I feel like has a very dramatic feel to it. Yeah, stoked on how it turned out.
Now, when you say dramatic, is it something where, because every time I think about dramatic, I'm thinking, does it have, especially towards the end, is it going to be something that's just very powerful that we're not expecting? Is it going to have this very theatrical cinematic flair to it to really add to the overall experience of that drama? Just like, what are we talking about here? Because I want to get excited for this even more.
Yeah, there's a lot of that, actually. A lot of cinematic vibes at the end of the song. Actually, honestly, throughout the song. There's so many different vibes in it as well. Like, it starts off super heavy and fast and gets into some melodic territory. And then, at the end, it's like kind of slows down and gets super heavy. I feel like it gets really heavy in a different way that we haven't really explored yet.
See, now that's always something you got to listen to, and you got to just like really take stock in as a listener and just think, okay, I got to be ready for this, because if you're going to go heavy in a way that you really haven't gone heavy, I mean, who knows where you could go with that, especially if you're going to add more of that dramatics of the cinematic flair to it, because we have seen bands that have added some more of that cinematic flair to what they're able to do. And it just sometimes can create those absolute epic moments that really send those shivers down those spines, really get the goosebumps going. I think of Lorna Shore with anything that basically released off of Pain Remains, or like To the Hellfire, just all the cinematics that are behind it. It brought heaviness into a completely different light for that style. And I mean, when it comes to what you guys are going to possibly do with this song at the end, it may bring that mixture to there to really turn the song on its head and create that moment of absolute revelation, realization, and just like, again, spine tingling feel that song needs to really be that impactful punch of a song that it is.
Yeah. Well said, yeah.
And then all of a sudden, we're also going to get a guitar solo from Dustin. Oh, dear Lord. That's one thing I'm starting to see a little bit more of it, especially, more of the metalcore, deathcore, more of the heavy music side, is guitar solos went away for quite a while. Like, they just weren't there. It was always similar, like, versus, chorus, bridge, breakdown, chorus, outro. There was really no like guitar solo that was in there. I'm starting to see a couple more peek in there now. And I like the fact that they're coming back in a smaller capacity to add a little bit more of this unique flair to it. So what was it like putting a guitar solo in one of these songs for like a good chunk of time?
Yeah. Amazing. I that's like one of my favorite aspects of this band. They kind of just let me go ham on that. John also throws down on leads. But yeah, for this record, I always have a blast making those. It takes me a lot longer than you'd think. I kind of sit with it for, a few weeks, and I kind of just, I do a lot of improvising over the track, and that's kind of how it starts. And then, I'll connect some dots here and there. But yeah, most of it's just improvised.
But isn't that the way you kind of want it, though, especially to improvise on something like that? Because then you're just letting the song dictate your overall emotions and what you want the guitar solo to be to match what you're feeling at that given time.
Yeah, exactly.
That's how the emotion hits. Like, that's how it's going to hit with audiences, because you felt it, you're able to deliver it, and we're able to feel it through that, just the way it was produced, the way it was recorded, the way it's played. And probably when you're playing live too, whatever face you're making with it, whether it's just like, or get that like stink face going. But if you're going to do if you're going to do the guitar solo and you're going to do it live, maybe make sure if you're going to stage dive after it, just set us up for it. So we're not, going to let you drop like Jack Black in the beginning of School of Rock.
I'll give you a heads up.
Yeah, I'm just going to start seeing you go like this at some point and be like, oh boy, here we go. Tell my friends, yep, Dustin's stage diving. Okay, let's just hold him up. Okay, we got him. And then just carry you around the room in X-Ray Arcade just for the fun of it. Like, you're shredding guitar, we got you on your back, just walking around like, yeah, we got it.
Yeah. Dude, I'll do it if the crowd's feeling it. I'll jump in there.
Okay, now you're basically giving me a challenge at that point. This is going to be something.
Yeah.
I think it'd be better if you didn't catch him. Just kidding. I'm joking.
So if we don't catch him, though, what we're going to have to do is we're going to have someone filming it from the side and then have no one catch him. And then we're going to make a whole entire video series of like, make one of those TikToks that the kids are on. And then they have Jack Black beginning of School of Rock, Dustin from the Saturday after the EP releases, stage them at the same time and asking who did it better.
Yeah. I don't want to wind up in the hospital, so I don't know. We'll see how that one goes.
Not a good idea.
Maybe not a good idea, but then again, all we're gonna really have to do at that point is, we got duct tape, we got WD-40, we can fix anything with that. Whether it's mechanical, body parts, we got it.
Duct tape is broken guitar.
Hey, it's possible. I remember there was one time at a show, I broke my finger during it, and I'm like, oh, well, it's different than a guitar, but I'm like, oh, that sucks. Went down the EMTs, they're like, oh, we don't have any, like, splint to put on it, but we can, like, tape it to your other finger so it doesn't, like, get potentially worse. And I'm like, just do it. Did somebody go to the hospital after that, and I ran back upstairs to the show because I paid for that show. I wasn't going to miss out.
Yeah. Hell yeah. That's the spirit.
It's a real trooper.
Oh, it has to be, especially when the pit's going to be great because the band that was headlining was A Day to Remember. I'm just like, we don't miss out on this shit. So if you break, if you jump, if stage dive, if you break your guitar, if you break a bone or something, we're just going to duct tape you back together again. We're going to put you up on stage and make sure you finish the set. Even if there's like 3 people that have to hold you up, or if we have to hold your ankle in place, like the one time that happened with Dave Grohl. Like someone's going to be there holding your ankle in place.
That was cool.
Was that your fretting hand, by the way?
What was that?
Was that your fretting hand, the finger that you broke?
No, it would have been no, it's not. My fretting hand would have been this one. So I broke this one. I'd be like, not only that, but it's like, oh, I broke my pinky too. So I'm like, oh, I'd still be good. Could have it out there. Basically playing as fancy as possible.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were getting all excited. You're like, oh my god, you're a lefty too.
Yeah.
Nope. Unfortunately, the only thing I really do with left-handed is if I'm playing hockey or playing baseball. That's it. Don't know why, but just feels normal.
Dude, same. I'm a righty at baseball. So
nice.
It's a little weird.
Yeah, it just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I throw lefty, but I bat righty.
Yeah, I'm the exact opposite. I throw right and I bat left.
That's incredible.
It's like we're twins, but we're not. It's like we're twins, but we got transposed. Freaky. Say shit. Then when you guys end up coming to play in Milwaukee, I'm gonna have to bring like my baseball glove to the show and be like, all right, we got to test this out. We got to see if this actually is a thing.
Yeah, let's do it.
I mean, you guys have been in the venue before. It's literally in a freaking neighborhood. Like there'll be cars parked on the street. Yeah, we'll just start throwing a baseball around, see what happens.
Hell yes.
So with the EP, of course, coming out on March 15th, of course, I know you guys got stuff with Oceano coming up, not only with the one-off show, not only with your slight headline or your small little headliner to support it, but also with Oceano later on in the spring. What else do you guys have coming up in the rest of the year to continue growing by the thousands? That's always something I'm curious about.
Next month, we have a home show here at the Amsterdam with Reflections and a bunch of other like hometown, like super heavy bands. And I'm really stoked for that show.
Yeah, literally all the heavy hitters in the cities are on that one. So we're very stoked on that.
So definitely, if you're going to that show, bring duct tape and WD-40 to make sure if someone gets hurt, you're able to put them back together again.
Yes.
Yes. Bring plenty. I'm sure there will be quite a few people who need to be put back together at that show.
So I have to tell my buddy he has to show up at that show because I know he lives in the area and be like, hey, Chris, go to that show and just see what happens. Also, give me a report of how many people have to be duct taped back together. I'll even send him a whole roll of duct tape and just be like, just trust me on this.
We also plan on doing a ton of touring, just continuing that. We're also going to be back to writing. We already have a ton of songs for this next one. Nothing really like completely solid, like full songs. Or actually, I mean, I would say we have 2 or 3 full songs, but yeah, it's going to be hitting that hard. Just continue dropping singles and yeah.
And when it comes to like, trying to tour throughout the second half of the year, especially because I know you guys probably got the first half booked out and everything like that, but touring throughout the rest of the year, touring later in the year, is there like certain bands you want to tour with or certain artists that you're trying to get on tours with at the moment as well, just to continue not only grow your sound with fans that are, already in love with you guys, but with fans that are in love with bands that would be like, hey, if you like this band, you're going to like By the Thousands and you're going to want to go see them play live. So what bands are you trying to potentially tour with in the rest of the year?
Yeah, I mean, if I could tour with like North Lane or like a Tesseract or, Veil or Boo or any of those bands, like that would be, I mean, that's kind of similar to our sound, I'd say.
Yeah. Touring with Minneapolis would be sick. I was just listening to them on my walk over here.
Oh, yes.
Love that band.
Yeah.
Veil too. I fucking love Veil.
So I was thinking about, I could definitely see an upcoming run towards the end, like later in the year with Tesseract with you guys. That was the one that I was thinking about. I'm like, I could definitely see that happening. Of course, I would love to see you guys go on in the row with, Veil Maya and Born of Osiris, but at the same time, I'm also trying to think realistic too. I'm like, Veil already did a run this year. I know they're doing a second one already. Born of Osiris has a whole co-headline run with Attila in April and May. So I'm like, haven't seen anything from Tesseract yet. Interesting.
Yeah. They're going out with intervals or something like that.
Tessie?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so, yeah. Or actually, I think that already happened.
Oh, did it already?
Yeah, Intervals is going out with somebody else, yeah.
Yeah, Intervals
party.
Yeah, I was I'm pretty sure Intervals is going out with someone else because they're releasing their new album in May, I want to say.
Oh, yeah. Hail the Sun.
Yeah, they're so sick.
Yeah, that band is cool. That's like the band where the vocalist is like the drummer. Yeah, those guys rock. Those guys are sick.
Yeah, I know. A couple months, I'm going to try and bring them out of this bad boy and talk to them about that record, too, because that just sounds like fun. And then maybe plant the seeds a little bit. Hey, if you heard this band By the Thousands, go check them out. You might want to go on tour with them. I saw them play live. Their guitarist tried stage diving, fell on his face, and still kept shredding the solo without question. His collarbone may have been sticking out in a different direction, but we just duct tape it back together again.
It truly does fix everything.
It truly does. Broken bones, broken guitars, broken hearts. Duct tape it.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yes.
I mean, if you guys are going to, again, do another video where you've got different pig intestines and cow hearts out there, just make sure that cow heart has a huge piece of duct tape on it, maybe with the band name or the band logo on there as well. So it's well, what happened? We're just holding this stuff together with duct tape at this point, just for the fun of it.
Our next EP is going to be the duct taped EP, and it's literally going to be duct taped.
That'd be interesting. And if you guys have physical media for it, if you guys do vinyl or CDs for it, instead of just having the normal sleeves, just do 100 custom where you literally make duct tape sleeves. I remember when I was in high school, how many kids made duct tape wallets? It's no.
Forgot about those.
Duct tape wallets, so it is.
Duct tape vinyl sleeves, duct tapes like CD, holders, everything like that. And it's just, well, now it's actually a legitimate thing, and it's going to be well protected. It's duct tape.
goodness.
I was a lamb. I always had those Velcro ones. Those ones were so nerdy.
Yeah, but they worked.
They did. You know, it did its job, held some money. Whatever money I had at the time, which is probably like nothing.
Yeah, I even think about back to it's like I remember it was like you have the duct tape wallets, you have the Velcro wallets. All of a sudden you had the kids that had just like the normal standard like leather wallets, and I look at mine, I'm like, my wallet now is 2 pieces of aluminum put together.
Dude, yeah, that's all you need.
Yeah, I think I have something like that.
And I'm like, it works. So you know what, we're gonna use it. And if I know that something happens with that wallet, or if something happens with the straps on there that are just like, oh, if it starts to break, I know what to fix them with. Duct tape. And I'm going to get it from your next EP when I buy the physical media.
Let's go.
Well, guys, I got one more question for you. And I always like to ask this question for you, but I have to ask you first. Are you ready for this? Because this is going to be fun.
Fuck yeah.
So, yep. Exactly. Are you ready for this? Well, it's a question I like to ask everybody I bring on the podcast due to the fact that it allows not only myself, but everybody else to get to know more of the great music that not only you guys love, but you also want us to know about. So I've got 3 of you there. So can you give me one each? Can you guys in total give me 3 bands that you absolutely love, that you would love to get more people to check out and listen to?
Now I'm on the spot. I don't know.
Sorry, could you rephrase that?
Yeah,
Or
so like can you guys give me a band that you guys love that is not getting enough recognition right now that you would love to get more recognition on?
Okay. Damn, that's something I would really have to think about.
Our buddies in OCC, Our Common Collapse.
Our Common Collapse is so good.
They're popping off, but yeah, go listen to them.
Yeah, go listen to them.
Dude, there's so many bands out there that deserve like recognition, and it's hard just to pick one. I think that's why I'm having a hard time. Dude, just every freaking band out there that is busting their ass that wants this, like go support. Like doesn't matter. Just that's how local bands become bigger and then are able to go as far as like their support takes them. So it's just whatever it is. If you like the music, support it. Otherwise, who knows what will happen.
Yeah.
That's a high quality answer if I've ever heard one. Holy shit.
Yeah. It's hard to pick one. Just support your music scene. That's how you build your music scene. Like that's how we pack shows and stuff like that. It's just by having a killer music scene.
Yeah.
And that won't happen unless people support people. No matter what size band you are, it doesn't matter. Just go out there and support.
How about you?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of solid Minneapolis bands to check out. I just looked up
So many.
a lot of the bands here. Waste, I'd say it'd be one. They're
This
super
is so
heavy.
sick.
In Search of Solace, they're also our homies.
Very sick.
Yeah, the list goes on around here.
It's so much, especially around here. Yeah.
Yeah, we're
Minnesota
definitely
has a killer music scene.
we're blessed here. The scene here is amazing. I just feel weird because it's like, not everybody likes to support local bands because it's just you see it in a different light when it's a local band as an unsigned artist or a band that maybe might not draw so much. But yeah, I think it's definitely what keeps the scene alive.
Oh, it absolutely does. It's something that, if we don't support local music, it's the bands that have become the biggest bands in the world, the bands that you absolutely love right now, they were local musicians at one point. Just that's always something you got to think about because you never know who you're going to find. You never know who you're going to like. And you never know when that one moment happens where you get to see a band that plays in front of maybe 100 people And the next time you get to see them, they're playing in front of a sold out crowd of like over 1,500. And then the next time after that, you see them in front of a crowd of over like almost like 4,000. And probably the next time you get to see them, they're going to be in an arena. I was kind of also alluding, that's kind of my story, trying to see Bad Omens, because that's kind of what happened. So it's but it's like that's the kind of shit that happens where, you know, if you're supporting a band early on, you get to be a part of that whole entire journey. And you get to enjoy the music from the get-go. You get to see them grow. You get to feel like, you know, yeah, this was awesome. I got to support them throughout all of this. How cool is that? And then it just, I don't know, it just feels great when you get to see someone that you absolutely care about, that you absolutely love their music, succeed, and that you've been there from the beginning. It's a great feeling. So, yeah, go and support local music. God damn it, go do it.
Hell yeah.
Exactly.
And if YouTube decides to flag me for that, god damn it, well, god damn it.
God damn it.
Yeah, there's so many times where we've, been to shows where our friends are now, playing big ass rooms or, even arenas. Mm-hmm. And it's just like insane to see because you never know who the dude's going to be.
Yeah, you never know. So give him a shot. Why not? Well, guys, as we bring this podcast to conclusion, one thing I'd like to do is give my guests, which is all three of you guys right now, a chance to say whatever you want to say, plug what you want to plug, promote what we're going to promote at the end of the episode. So, guys, the floor is yours.
All right. Thanks for checking out this podcast, and watch out for our EP coming out this week entitled The Descent, and follow us on our tour and social media and everything. Keep up to date with us, and we'll hopefully be rolling through your area. Sorry, sirens.
I was gonna say, if you don't go and check it out, then those sirens are gonna come for you.
Yeah.
Exactly. We don't want that.
No, we don't want that. So go and check out the EP when it drops. Go and make sure you go and see these guys play live, whether it's on their headline run, whether it's with Oceano. And if you're in Milwaukee, try and find a ticket for that show. I know it's sold out, but I already got mine, so But in all seriousness, time for this podcast with three things. First things first, the EP, once again, called The Descent, comes out on March 15th, which is literally the day after this podcast release. So go subscribe to the podcast where it says Find by the Thousands online. There'll be links and labels for where you can pre-save the EP, where you can stream it when it comes out as well. Also where you can find By the Thousands Play Live, and where you can connect them on social media. I've got everything labeled there for you. I've got all the links there. I'm doing all the heavy lifting for you. I'm your own personal Google on this one. So please, go and do it. Just go and follow these guys. You won't regret it. Now it's time for number 2. So guys, whenever I get to the podcast, I enjoy the podcast. I tend to make a certain promise as a way to say, thank you for being on the podcast. I really appreciate it. And I would wish you could support the band in any future capacity. And I typically start this promise out by saying when, because when states that it's going to happen. We just don't have a day or time yet. But this is funny because I have a day or time now. On Saturday, when you guys are playing Milwaukee with Oceano still there, I will be at the show. So I will come and look for you guys. I will find you. I will come say hi, but my promise to you is this. First round's on me.
Hell yes.
Oh,
Seconds
yes.
on us.
I'll say either first round's on me, or I might do, because I know exactly how the venue configuration is. You might see me just walk up to the van, knock on the door, say it's the beer man. I might just have a case of beer with me and be like, hey guys.
Hell yes.
Please. Oh yes.
It'll be one or the other, but you know what, guys? Now it's time to close out this by saying thank you very much. I really appreciate it. I'd love you back on the podcast again in the future, and I will be seeing you on Saturday. Remember, first round's on me. Everyone, go stream and listen to The Descent when it comes out on March 15th or any day after that. But guys, until then, I'll see you later.
Hell yes. Thank you so much for having us. Thank you.
Woo! Well, folks, that was my interview with Undo, Dustin, and Adam from the band By the Thousands. Now it's time for Kevin's final thought. And I was struggling a bit, like, what could I do for a final thought on this one? But I thought of it, and it's this. When we asked them to give us each a band they wanted to see, get more, focus on and more attention on from the scene, and when Ando came up with his response, that was something. Not just giving a response, but just really focusing on the importance of supporting local music, no matter what it is. And the main reason behind that is because there are so many artists out there, so many bands, so many people that are putting their blood, sweat, and tears into this to put in the passion. And of course, they're going to be, in terms of overall quality music, it's like anything. some people are going to be great. Some people are going to be not so great. But if you give people the support that they need, and if they have that talent, then they're going to be able to take it to the next level, and they're going to be the ones that are continue to make music, continue to create the sounds and the styles and the feelings that you connect with on an everyday basis and absolutely fall in love with and are able to share that with the rest of the world. Wouldn't you want to see someone that you absolutely love, care about, or someone that makes you feel over the top fantastic every single time succeed? I mean, I would. And it's something where I even think about myself too. Have I been giving enough support to the local Milwaukee scene as much as I should have? And I think about it and I'm like, I'm going to be honest with you, and this is going to take some humbling from me. I haven't been as supportive as I could be. And that's on me. I haven't been going to as many local shows. I haven't been seeing as many local bands as I probably could. I'm seeing some more of the bigger ones, or I'm going and traveling and going to see bands that I absolutely like, bands I have in the podcast. But I'm not sitting here in Milwaukee and going to as many local shows as I possibly could. And it took me a little time to think about that too and kind of come to the realization of that. And I always preach about, go and support local music, go and do that. And I think about it now, why haven't I done that? And it's pretty simple when you boil it down to it. I'm just not making the time to have to go and do that. I'm not creating the time for myself to support local music. So maybe we'll start something. Maybe this is the dawn of something. Maybe we do once a month. Now it just has to be once a month just to start out with, where you go and see a local show. Doesn't matter what kind of music it is, doesn't matter where it is, just a local show in your area. And go and support those musicians and try and see where they're going to go. You might find some of the best musicians you've ever seen. Maybe you're not going to find something you like. Who knows? But you're going to give it a chance and you're going to give those artists support. So that's got to be a thing we got to start now because of that. Because of what Ando said. Maybe once a week. Not once a week. Once a month. Just find a local show and go. And stay for the whole thing. Just try it. Let's try it. When it comes by the thousands, though, when it comes to a brand new EP, when it comes to finding them online, go link strips of the podcast or just find by the thousands online. They're all going to be there. I'm your own personal Google. So go stream The Descent when it comes out, when it's going to be out. Go make sure you see them perform live, and let's have some fun. Also, make sure you subscribe to the Chord Progression Podcast on YouTube right down here. New episodes every single Tuesday and Thursday, and reaction videos every single Friday as well, along with the fact that you can stream the whole entire podcast Tuesday and Thursdays, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts as well. So go do that. Hit like on the video. Hit like on the episode. Thank you guys. And on that note, that's who you guys think for watching, listening to the Chord Progression Podcast. My name is Kevin, and you guys know I never sing one of them healthy and hearty. See ya! Yeah!